Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here on Sunday the 12th of January. Thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Apologies for the late update of this one and also for its brevity. Being one of those days today, been working on some new charts on the website and I don't know where the time has gone. Anyway, on with things. We've managed to hang on to get the 12Z run, or the 12 o'clock midday run of the ECMWF operational. This is it. This is temperatures at 8:50. Now, I often show these. These are actually temperatures at 5,000 feet up in the atmosphere. But what they do is they give us an indication as to trends at the surface over the coming 10 days. So we've got the dates across the bottom here, look. And what they show, look, is this kind of fall off in temperatures briefly as we get in towards Tuesday, rise midweek, but then look towards the end of the week, we're back down again. We're kind of down into the -6 realms at 5,000 feet by the end of the week into the weekend. Looks as if it's probably only a fairly brief cold snap that comes in, but many models seem to be settling on this idea of going unsettled and cold at the weekend before things improving during the middle part of next week. I'll have more of that for you tomorrow, but just a quick review the ECMWF, where it's at the moment. This is the chart for Friday, and got low pressure out towards the west of Scotland. You see this deep trough that's in here at that time. Just watch what happens by the time we get into Saturday. So this is midday Saturday. You notice here that the trough has become sharpened. It's feeding in cold air all the time from here, from Greenland, from the pole. What it does is it sharpens up this trough down here. We got the ridge pumping up towards the west here. That's pumping warm air northwards all the time, and the result is that we find the trough constantly being sharpened up, and eventually that will be a cut-off feature of its own. And then on Sunday, look, here's our trough in here, sharpened. It's actually starting to cut off there. Here's our ridge out towards the west here, pumping up ever more into here. This is cold air that's now being cut off up towards the north of Scotland. That's got all quite an unsettled, cold look to it for Sunday. And in fact, into Monday, start to see low pressure here, look, over Germany. Here's our ridge, look, pumping ever further north, getting that warm air in. And this trough here is starting to suffer because of that. And eventually what's going to happen is there'll be this cut-off feature that goes to the east. I actually don't think this is going to be here. I think this feature here is probably going to be down here somewhere. So we'll actually have more of a northeasterly flow cutting in here rather than the northerly that's shown on the map here. This ridge comes through here. And then by the 22nd, what we have is the situation where the ridge is starting to try and get across the top. We've got this trough in here, but I actually think what will happen is low pressure's down here, and we get more of an east-northeasterly flow. Now, that probably takes us to, as it says here, sort of the 22nd, 23rd time. So it's the end of next week. But then what I think happens is it looks as if these westerlies are going to try and blast back in, and we probably go into milder conditions. So it looks like being a short-lived cold snap, probably through next weekend into the first part of next week. Certainly not the depths of winter, but I still hang out that it's probably going to be cooler than it has been for a while. We'll see what happens. More on that for you tomorrow. But once again, thanks for watching weatherweb.net, and bye for now.